Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. 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 Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach and the bench deep.
Right.
Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting.
Yep.
Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You like that? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Monday evening here inside the studio. We got an absolutely loaded show for you guys here on a Monday. We've got the boys' reactions from the weekend. Obviously, I dumped a whole notebook full of notes for you guys yesterday on Sunday's reaction show. We're going to follow back up. I'll add some additional things now that I've had the opportunity to watch a lot of these weekend's games on film. We've got Week 13 previews to talk about. We got coaching news and drama to get into. It's an absolutely slam show for you guys. 3 hours of content tonight from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock here on the network. Just got done live premiering that Arch Manning Texas offensive film study versus that Georgia defense. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We have a film study coming up tomorrow morning here on the network on that Texas A&M comeback against South Carolina. Spoiler alert, I watched it. We're going to film it tomorrow morning. It's really about 12 plays. I mean, to be honest to God, 27-point comeback could be boiled down offensively A&M to about 12 plays. They were so explosive in that second half. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rate, reviewing. Almost to 85K on our way to 100K. And then 1 million. I mean, why stop there? To the moon, boys. Welcome in. Got a loaded show for you guys tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. I want to start tonight with the biggest storyline lingering in college football, and obviously that is Lane Kiffin, as you can see by the title of tonight's show and the thumbnail attached to today's video. It was reported today that not only has LSU private jetted the family down to Baton Rouge, but apparently the family visited Gainesville as well. This comes just days after Lane has had less than, I would say, positive remarks about the Ole Miss fan participation at home games like the Citadel. And now it's being reported, and it's continued to be reported, that Ole Miss has kind of given Lane an ultimatum, that you are either going to give us a decision on your future to like this week during the bye week, or we're going to have to start making moves. I don't know necessarily how true this ultimatum is. I also don't know how Lane Kiffin would react to an ultimatum such as that. You're not going to be able to coach in the Egg Bowl or the playoffs unless you give us a decision. This has been widely reported today, Jonathan, you were telling me.
Yeah, I've seen multiple people report it. My thoughts on it are I could see it from both sides. I could understand why Ole Miss would want to give an ultimatum and would want to force an answer out of Lane Kiffin because they're having one of the best seasons in program history. They're trying to work their way towards a playoff run, a national title run, all that good stuff. But at the same time, they can't be left as a sitting duck at the end of the year without a head coach and be left behind the entire coaching hire process. So I can understand for them why it's like, dude, if you're going to leave, we need to know now because we need to get our name into the hat and we need to try and go ahead and hire one of our next head coach and not be left with the bottom of the list because there's so many coaching jobs open at the moment. I could also see it from Lane's side of not really liking that because it's, well, look at what I've done to this place. Look at what I've offered this place. Look at what I've built this place up to be. And you're going to tell me that I can't coach my program, my team to the end of the year through the playoffs and the Egg Bowl, all that stuff?
Honestly, and Kirby, I will get your thoughts here in a second. I want to add on to this because I'm with you. I think it's sad on multiple points or multiple fronts. And it's sad. I don't think it's anyone's real fault. It's a lot to do with the calendar and the way that it's set up and the fact that most of these teams feel like they got to get this coaching search figured out prior to the playoff and everybody's rushing these decisions and the calendar and whatnot. But it's sad on multiple fronts. I think it's sad on one hand because, I mean, Lane is the highest or most winningest coach from a win percentage that they've ever had at Ole Miss by a wide margin. Anybody that would tell you Lane Kiffin is not the greatest coach in Ole Miss history would just be arguing longevity. That's it. He is the greatest that there has been there from a winning standpoint. And I honestly, this is my opinion, and I get in trouble as somebody who's trying to be a national voice, I think being a little too honest to fan bases because some people are selling Ole Miss fans that, don't worry, the next guy's going to just walk into a great situation. They've turned it around. They do a lot of things. They have a lot of budget. They can go out and buy portal football players, but it is still a 5-hour radius football. Like, it's still a 5-hour radius sport. I believe in this. I believe in it to its core. I believe that if it was the best possible path to a consistent chance to win national titles through the portal, that everybody else would do it. That Ohio State would be out here buying 35 new players every year. That Georgia would do it. That Texas would do it. That LSU would do it. That Alabama would do it. If it were the preferred method of roster building, everybody would do it. Lane has found a way to make this a 10 and 11 win program. I think that is a more sign of Lane being a great football coach than this being a great football coaching job. That is my opinion. Now, Ole Miss fans have this, I think, diluted or disconnected viewpoint of what their football program is because Lane has won at such a rate that they get resources at the rate that all these other places get at a baseline level. At a baseline level. This, I think this is a disconnect between how I view college football and how I think Ole Miss fans right now view college football. You think that because you're willing to pay him $13.5 million and you're willing to give him a budget to go out and buy players, that makes you a great job. No, that makes you a job that is willing to do the baseline requirements in just this conference to win. Not only the national scene. To win on the national scene, you have to do this year in, year out, year in, year out, year in, year out for decades, and then you crack into the national title run like Ohio State's doing. So I think that's my disconnect with and again, it's fans and you're really passionate about your football program and that's great. And I do think they're a top 15, top 20 job. But we're talking about him, viewing Ole Miss versus LSU, which is a consensus top 5 job, top 6 job, or this versus Florida, which is a consensus top 10 job or top 12 job. And I think that's the disconnect I'm having with some of the fans that I'm arguing with on social media today.
Yeah, I mean, fans are definitely delusional in thinking that their school, the place they went to, the fan base that they've cheered for pretty much their entire life is the best job in the world. You expect that from fans. I think objectively speaking, we all agree that going to a Florida or an LSU would be an upgrade. But the way it's been gone about on both sides, honestly, has not been very pretty whatsoever.
And look, I do want to say this. They've done everything for this guy. They let him sell out the uniforms to Realtree. They gave him as much money as it possibly took to keep Pete Golden on this staff. They're willing to give him make him the highest paid college football coach in the sport. They have given him everything that they possibly can. All that being said, everyone still looks at this job other than Ole Miss people and says, yeah, LSU's probably a better job. Yeah, Florida's probably a better job. I think most people will draw the line and maybe give you a debate for Auburn right about now. Though I think Auburn is a better job. That's just how I think of these things. But again, I am a person that could be. I'm open to being wrong about this for sure.
Well, I think that kind of an indicator of where that job should be placed is that when Lane Kiffin was hired to be the Ole Miss head coach, the biggest talking point was that Lane was a great fit for that program because what he provides offensively is enough to offset what they lack in other departments on the roster, where they lack, like, they don't have the 5 stars littered all over defense, and they don't even have the 5 stars littered all over the offense. But what they do have is a great offensive scheme that is really hard to beat, and that has been the case for Ole Miss for as long as Lane Kiffin has been there. And now that he has kind of piled up on the recruiting, or he's piled up on the talent via the portal and some on the recruiting trail, now he's able to compete for a national title. But it took quite a few steps to get to this point, but that was the biggest talking point when Lane was hired there to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of viewed as this kind of, oh, he's getting back into the Power 5. He's getting back into, the good graces of SEC schools, and maybe we'll see what goes from there. It just so happened that he did elevate this program to a consistent playoff fringe team, and I think that's what's kind of made people realize, okay, maybe he can, maybe this should be his permanent spot. But if an LSU or a Florida comes knocking, you understand it.
Do you agree with me that the next football coach is not just automatically set up for success at Ole Miss?
Yeah, no.
Because that's kind of the way people are selling this, is if like, oh, if Lane leaves, don't worry about it. Y'all are set up for success, immediate success. The next guy just goes in there and gets all those resources and just immediately wins 10 games. Like, I just don't.
No.
I don't see that to be the case. I think he is overcoming a lot out there to be a 10-11 playoff team. That's my opinion of what Lane's job is, or what he's doing out there in terms of a job.
Yeah, I mean, if Lane does indeed leave Ole Miss and that job becomes open, whoever takes that job, you're going to have a high standard now to meet at Ole Miss. It's definitely not the standard that was set before Lane got there, where it's like, we just want to be relevant. We want to be talked about in this conference. We want to be talked about in the playoffs. We want to be relevant when December rolls around. Like, that was kind of what the hopes and aspirations were for those fans. Not to do it every single year maybe, but now Lane's kind of changed the trajectory of that program, if you will.
All right. We good on the Lane news. Let's move on to the actual news today. Friend of the show, Pete Nakos of On3, reporting today that James Franklin and Va-Tech in finalizing agreements for James Franklin to become the next head coach at Virginia Tech. My only take on this is if and when it indeed is finalized, holy hell, what a hire.
Oh, yeah.
By Va-Tech. I mean, what a hire. I don't mean to demean the folks of Blacksburg after just taking out Ole Miss folks, but, like, my God, this was an elite hire. This will be an elite hire.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the best part about it is the knock on James Franklin was he struggled against top 10 teams. He struggled against winning those quote-unquote big games. You look around the ACC right now, there's not really a top 10 team that swims around in there. Maybe Florida State will get off the mat next year. Maybe Clemson will do so as well. But the ACC is so wide open for the taking that a guy like James Franklin can come in here and elevate your program to be a consistent, not even just a conference contender,
by the way,
playoff contender.
I'm notoriously bad with geography, but this is a very similar region of recruiting that he was really, really good at there at Penn State, no?
I mean, it's around the area, yeah, for sure.
I mean, to have access to the northern hemisphere of the South and then that Mideastern area of high school football talent that is still high quality. Like, you get far up into the northeast end of things, not so much. But we remain down closer to the capital and south. You got good high school football all around there.
I think the best news for Virginia Tech fans with hiring James Franklin is that you're not just getting a guy that is coached at a high level in Power 4, but you're also getting a guy that saw that job and was like, yeah, I have this buyout money, but instead I want to keep coaching. So screw the buyout money. I'm going to go to Virginia Tech, and now also has like this vindication about himself of, I want to prove all these people wrong. I want to keep coaching. And I mean, not saying that he's going to fulfill his dream of winning a national title somewhere else at Virginia Tech, but that dude's going to compete his balls off for you.
Our Va-Tech listener, Hokey Pitcher in the chat, an alumnus at Va-Tech, says 10 wins and lose the big one is James Franklin. That is also Frank Beamer, and he's our GOAT.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Massive truth there.
But again, like Jay Will said, you're getting a guy that's hungry. You're getting a guy that wants to compete for national titles, and the fact that he believes you're a place that can be done so. And it's not like he's a fallen – he somewhat is fallen from graces of these big schools. But this guy built up Vanderbilt to be teams that you did not want to face Vanderbilt on your schedule back in 2013 when he was there. So he could absolutely do this with Virginia Tech. And I think, again, we all agree this is a fantastic hire for them. It does make me a little sad, though, because it's my theory of Shane Beamer's going to leave South Carolina for the Virginia Tech job is just now falling on its face.
Whoa, what are you doing there?
Your theory.
Not my theory, but the theory that
That stretches take.
It's Jay Wilson.
You tried to claim my own theory in front of my face
That was too much.
on live television?
The
Oh,
theory
man.
that I very much supported and believed in that Jay Will came up with, I really wanted to see Shane Beamer leave South Carolina for Virginia Tech and just see the chaos that it puts the SEC with him.
I think South Carolina fans did too, to be honest.
James Franklin immediately becomes a top 3 coach in the ACC?
Yeah.
First of all, who's the best coach in the ACC right now?
It's got to be Dabo. It's got to be Dabo.
It's gotta be Brent Key.
Brent Key.
Dude, we can't just say Brent Key's all of a sudden automatically better.
All right,
than
so
Dabo
Brent
Sweeney,
Key,
in my
Dabo,
opinion.
who's 3? You taking James Franklin or Rhett Lashley?
Or Bill.
I mean,
You taking James Franklin or Mario Cristobal?
I guess James Franklin.
You taking James Franklin or Mike Norvell?
James
Franklin. No, I agree.
Immediately walk. And I had this take about North Carolina last year, about Bill Belichick taking that job. This is a coaches conference. Every other, like the Big Ten and the SEC, those are players conferences. You got to have dudes on top of dudes. You got to have a stacked ass roster to go through those slates and to win those conferences. This conference annually gets won by a team named Clemson that, I don't know, has averaged top 17 recruiting classes the last 5 years. So, like, yeah, you ain't got to go out here and recruit at a top 3 or top 10 level to win this sucker. You got to be a good football coach, and I think he's a good football coach.
Yeah, I think
he's a very good football coach. I think that, again, the stink of the record against top 10 teams kind of made it seem like he was.
Jeff Brom clears. Jeff Brom clears in this conference. My bad.
My
bad, Jeff Brom.
Went ahead and looked up the 2026 schedule for Virginia Tech. I'm just going to rattle them off for
It's
you.
some Swiss cheese.
I wouldn't go that far. VMI. That's probably a win for him. Old
Virginia
Dominion.
Military Institute?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Old Dominion, Maryland,
Hey, it's tough out, Old Dominion. Don't sleep on the Monarchs.
James Madison,
Oof.
Virginia, Boston College, Cal, Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech, NC State, Pitt. Now, that is not in chronological order. Like, the dates have not been set on some of these games. Like, he's not going to actually play Clemson, Miami, and Georgia Tech back to back to back. But having those 3 teams on your schedule for that conference.
Getting non-conned against JMU and Old Dominion's not ideal.
No, it's not.
You know?
Not at all.
Those are 2 of the top 6 mid-major programs, at least when they play big boys.
Old Dominion's gotten Virginia Tech a handful of times,
Old
too.
Dominion's damn near gotten South Carolina 2
Yeah.
years in a row. So, yeah, that's about as tough as a tough ACC schedule gets. If there is one, that's it.
Yeah.
That and what Syracuse had to do this year.
Right.
With a lax bro playing quarterback.
Tough.
So, great hire.
Oh, I think it's a
Fantastic.
tremendous hire for them.
I honestly thought he should have been in the running for that Auburn job.
Yeah, and Auburn fans are like, no.
Nah, he's not good enough for us.
10 wins? We don't want that.
We want Summerall.
Go
We'll
get
see
him.
how that works for him.
Go get him.
You know, UTSA's got his number. Just as long as you don't play them, you ought to be all right. UTSA's got Summerall's number.
Yeah, they do.
But other than that, he rolls.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into our Week 12 reactions, boys. Before we do that, shout out to Sleeper. Go ahead and knock that sucker out.
Yes, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. If you don't know by now, it is one of the fastest growing fantasy platforms in the world. It has over 6 million active users, growing by the day. Those numbers are from 2023, so I'd assume it's much higher by now. Use promo code Brooks today. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. See Sleeper's terms and use for details. They are currently operational in over 25 U.S. states, including this great state of Georgia. Thank you, Sleeper. Head over there again. That promo code is Brooks.
Shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. Again, promo code Brooks, 100% deposit match up to $100 for you first-time users. If you're new to the network, do 2 things. Subscribe, head over to Sleeper. Get promo code Brooks, 100% deposit match. Appreciate those guys over there. Let's get into our Week 12 reactions, boys. Let's start out there in Aggie land. Damn. Where should we start? Should we start with the comeback, or should we start with the fact that you almost almost got to come in here and take a victory lap.
Well, I actually have a statement on this, like I tweeted out on Monday.
Statement.
Yeah, I said I would have
a statement to be released.
Yes.
Did the statement get altered?
No.
What?
Not at all.
This is first half down 30-3 statement.
Yeah.
Let's hear this one.
All right. It's been well documented on this show that I have been reluctant to label Texas A&M as a national title contender, and despite their undefeated season, I have remained adamant that I will not claim they are a playoff team until they actually make the playoff. So, when South Carolina took a 30-3 lead over the Aggies into the half, my Twitter feed blew up with people taking victory laps on my behalf, calling me a genius. Seeing that there was a narrative that was being spun about me that, frankly, I did not agree with, I let the world know that I would have a statement on this issue on Monday. Now, we all know how this game ended. South Carolina completely collapsed, and the narrative that Kirby is the football messiah or he gets to take a victory lap on Monday collapsed with it. But I'm here to say this. I never, and I mean never, had the plan of coming to this microphone on Monday and taking a victory lap. I had no intentions of making a compilation about dunking on Jay Will or Brooks, about how many times it's been hit over the head, about how I need to buy into the Texas A&M Kool-Aid and all that. Because the reality is this. Even if A&M had lost that game, they would still have a shot at reaching the playoff. They would have not been knocked out of the top 10 most likely, and they would still have a very, very clear path to both the SEC championship, or not the SEC championship, but the college football playoff. Today's statement was never going to be a victory lap because the race is not over. So with that, here is my new official statement. Texas A&M, I would like to congratulate you for your win on Saturday. Not because you looked good or showed the world how dominant you are. In fact, you did the exact thing that I had been waiting on you to do all season, but because you made history. Did you guys know that since 2004, SEC teams that take a 27-point lead are 286-0 against opponents? The Aggies quite literally defied history on Saturday. So my final thoughts on this matter are this. Texas A&M doing something that hasn't been done in nearly 300 attempts certainly bodes well for them reaching the college football playoff. And the closer we get to the conclusion of this regular season, the more and more it seems like I will likely have to say I was wrong about Texas A&M and they are a college football playoff team, which, by the way, I am completely fine with doing. But I think this weekend was an excellent reminder that teams are not nearly as bulletproof as people make them out to be, and the wins on paper are just wins on paper. And that having doubts on a team that routinely shits the bed in the month of November is not denying them or preying on their downfall or thinking they're bad. It is simply buying into history, which can be defied like we saw on Saturday. End statement.
End statement. Now that the professionalism is done, can we all just take one big collective laugh at Shane Beamer?
Oh, that's what I wanted to start with.
Yes.
That is what I wanted to start with.
That was...
And like, there's
Football God smoted.
Dude. That was also quite an educational experience. It's smoted, not smited.
Well, it's smote, but it should be.
Should have
smoted.
known not to trust you with grammatical correctness.
It's actually smote, and I said that in Sunday's show, but then continued to just pound smoted because that sounds way better than smote.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to start with, because when you're watching, like, we're sitting there in Myers Squad at Georgia at a tailgate watching this game. So you're hearing you're hearing all the reactions of everybody around you, and there is very clearly a large group of people that is hoping and praying for A&M's downfall, while South Carolina is just putting belt to ass at the moment. And so and then when you're watching this collapse from South Carolina, like, there's kind of part of you that feels bad for them in some sense. You're like, man, like, having your heart ripped out like that, you're about to pull off one of the greatest upsets. I mean, it looks like you are going to just cruise to this. And you're like, man, poor Shane Beamer, poor Lenore Sellers, all those guys. I just kind of feel for them. And then you see the clip of Shane Beamer after the game. I'm like, no, screw all of that. Screw the heartbreak and everything. Like, you deserve it. You deserve to have that experience for yourself. And then also on top of the quote that he gave him.
We beat that team by 24 points last year.
Crazy. I didn't even think it was real.
I never felt bad for South Carolina. The secondhand embarrassment I got from that of like, oh my God, they're about to blow this, was like, oh.
Honest to God, I thought he was going to break both foot.
Oh, man. I mean, what do you...
That's an inside joke at the tailgate. I went full football brain in the middle of that.
I asked Brooks, like I think A&M had brought it within like 14 points at this point. I said, boy, I kind of hope South Carolina loses because this Shane Beamer post-game press conference is just going to be an all-timer. And he proceeds to go, oh, he'll break both foot.
Not both feet, not both foots.
Yeah.
He'll break both foot.
He'll break both foot.
Both of them.
So we had a good chuckle about
Broke
that
foot.
for a while.
But no, that's the most embarrassing loss in South Carolina history. I'm not well versed in Gamecock football history, but I'd rather lose a blowout 60-0
when
than that.
you define a historical stat like you did on Saturday, it's certainly up there with one of the most embarrassing losses.
God, the stat, the halftime, the comments, all of it, embarrassing. It was like 12 plays.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It happened like that in the third quarter.
It was 19 minutes. That's all it took. 19 minutes for Texas A&M to take a 27-point lead back.
And it was all out of the empty. You're going to see it tomorrow on Film Breakdown. It's going to be the shortest 30 or 28-point film breakdown we've ever had on this network. It's going to be 12 plays, maybe 15 minutes. It was like that. I mean, so quick. And I talked about it on Sunday. It was as if A&M got all of their college football blunders out in one half.
Yeah, I mean, there
one
was
half. Get them all out.
mistake after mistake. And not even mistake, just like bad luck of like, oh, the ball bounced that way and that's a interception now. Stuff like that was just like, man, this is bad for A&M.
Yeah, when we gave like our final predictions and our final thoughts on this game, I said that this will be a game about catastrophes. Whoever can force the most catastrophes is going to win this game. South Carolina was forcing every catastrophe possible in the first half, and then Texas A&M just created a major catastrophe.
I love Mike Elko's comments about the game. I think it was either today or maybe post-game. Either way, he was breaking a sweat in the midst of it. He was glistening. My man was glistening in the middle of his press conference. He was asked about, like, what the halftime speech, like, what'd you give him? And he was like, that's not – y'all get so overwhelmed about this. Like, and I'm sure the videos will come out, and this is him talking. He's like, I'm sure the videos will come out about the halftime speech, and you'll notice that my job is to be opposite of the moment, is what he said. If everybody's down, if there's not enough energy, my job is to get everybody up. If there's a bunch of panic, my job is to be calm. If there's a bunch of chaos, my job is to be calm. My job is to be opposite of the moment. And I thought, as like, we always joke about me aspiring to be a football coach one day. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That your job is to be the balancer. Your job is to equalize everything that is going on and get your team to play at a nice, consistent, like, positive level.
Yeah, and I think that movies and, you know, some leaked speeches have kind of done disservices to where, oh, if something's going wrong at halftime, we're going to get this rah-rah, fiery, yell-at-you speech, and then everyone's going to come out and we're going to lock in and we're going to win the game. Like, that's typically not how it happens. And, like, if you notice, because Kirby Smart's probably the one who's got the most famous halftime speech leaks, they're never from a losing standpoint. They're never of a, you better fix this, yada, yada. It's always a, hey, we got to keep going. So the halftime speech to fix everything is
Hell,
a very
I think most
overrated
of the
thing.
speeches that get leaked from Kirby are all pregame.
Yeah.
There's one halftime speech to the Florida game when
Right.
he tells Jamari not to say shit to their undisciplined asses. That's it. That's the only halftime speech I've ever heard get leaked. And that wasn't even like a rah-rah. That was more of, hey, we're about to go out here and stomp this ass. Make sure we don't get in trouble. Let's go. You know? So there's that. I talked about it Sunday. That was their last, quote-unquote, style of win. It was the last box for them to check as a football team. Can you – because they've done the – especially offensively. Because we always worry about, hey, what brand of offense are you going to play today? Like, they've ran it down people's throats, and now they've played from behind down 27 and thrown for 420 yards to win a football game. Like, that was the last one for me. Hey, spot the other team, damn near forced touchdowns. See if you can come back. And they did.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I mean, now it's just a matter of, like, we'll see what they do against Texas because that's a major rivalry game, and ultimately it doesn't look like that's going to matter for their playoff hopes. But
yeah, I mean,
it'll just be like one more, like, vindication for them.
You had your statement. You don't have to admit that you're wrong, but you're officially wrong. They're a playoff team. They can lose out and they're a playoff team. So, well, I mean, we don't have to make another statement tonight about you being
like
wrong.
I said.
But
Like I said,
we
will
can do that on Selection Sunday in the midst of all the fun, the hoopla, and making you guys work on Sundays for the first time all year. We can do that. And then at the end of it, we can nana boo-boo, put a clown nose on your face. Maybe Sarah McLaughlin special, do the both of them, steal both bits. Maybe we'll go viral for making you look like a dummy.
Wow.
I don't think I look like a dummy for my take.
He really wants this.
He really does.
He really wants to make you look stupid.
He wants the revenge.
I want the take gods to smote you right now.
For what?
I don't know. Just because it'd be funny. I wanted to use the word smote again, to be honest with you.
It'll be great when all 12 of your teams make the playoff.
Yeah, dude.
Like every single team that you've picked, like every single one of them.
I mean,
Since you've covered like half the college football field, you should be safe.
Brooks has watched like 4 or 5 games where he's declared. I watched 2 playoff
it's my
teams tonight,
favorite.
and none of them have made the play.
It's my favorite bit when riding in the car with Jonathan watching a football game, just being like, oh, look at my Wake Forest Demon Deacons giving them a run. Oh, look at my Gamecocks. Look at them.
While also watching your Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah, while also watching my Aggies, you know?
Can't lose.
Can't lose,
Cast
baby.
a wide net.
Can't
Smart.
lose. That's the way you got to do this take business.
Oh no, it's
You got to love on everybody.
it's a tremendous
Except for
scheme.
Auburn, because all my homies hate Hugh Freeze.
Hey, he's not there anymore though.
I know, so now we got to love up on Auburn. We got to get them fans back.
In due
That's right.
time. In due time.
In due time. Notre Dame dominates Pitt. I had to let y'all know about this one. I had to let y'all know about Narduzzi's little stunt at the end of this.
I imagine you
yeah.
had to let a lot of people know because was anyone
wasn't
truly
watching it.
watching
This
this one
was
at
the
this point in the game?
Least surprising result of the week.
So 99.9% of the people in the chat right now have watched Sunday's reaction show. The 0.1% is right here on the stage. So I'll reiterate my take from Sunday. I thought that was backyard baby back bull crap that happened at the end of that football game. You cannot go on your press conference tour in the midst of College Game Day coming to town, that being Pat Narduzzi, and tell the world, I don't care if I could be 110-0. It doesn't matter. It's not an ACC game. And then proceed to, with 2.5 minutes left, down 37-9, throw the kitchen sink at Notre Dame's backups to try to score. That's garbage. I thought that was garbage. Not only was it a garbage score, I thought it was loser behavior after the way you talked. If you're going to talk about, I'll gratefully accept an ass whooping, then gratefully accept that ass whooping. Don't do so the way that you did. I thought that was lame.
It's almost like he went out there and made those comments, and then when he got off the podium, someone went up to him and said, hey, Coach, you know there's a tiebreaker where it's like point differential and wins and common opponents and stuff like that, and Notre Dame is a common opponent for some of our conference opponents. You might want to make sure that you don't just get your doors blown off in this one. He's like, maybe I do have to kind of care about this one.
Yeah, coming out and being that brash about how a game doesn't matter is a horrendous take to have as a head coach, no matter
especially considering if you really watch that game, Notre Dame just like in the second half was just like, all right, we're whipping this ass. Let's just
cruise.
sit on it. We'll cruise.
We'll be all right.
I mean, I think they had will you look up game logs for CJ Carr? I would venture to say that was a season low against Power 4 opponents for attempts for that elite thrower of the football. They absolutely took their foot off the gas in that football game, and then Narduzzi wants to pull that stunt. If y'all have seen, what's up?
Season high.
Season high.
Season high.
No way.
He tied his season high of 32 versus A&M.
Interesting.
He was 21 of 32.
Must have been all in the first 3 quarters.
Had to have been.
Anyways, I thought it was garbage. We're good on that football game?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to unpack there.
Let's get on to another one. Louisville drops another football game. I thought they were going to beat Clemson this year the same exact way they were beat Clemson last year. If you watch that football game to start, that backup running back for Louisville, who was the starter for that game because Isaac Brown was out, he was running through the face of Clemson's defense. KJ Barnes don't want to see that dude. No way. He's having nightmares for a century off that dude. So I thought they were going to run through their face for 4 quarters, and then the starting running back for Louisville gets hurt. Now offense gets stagnant, missed 2 field goals late. Boom, game gets out of our hands. We lose 20-19.
Yeah, and that was just 2 very mediocre teams going at it from what I saw. I mean, Clemson had a handful of opportunities that they squandered on their own. Tried to run a fullback dive with an offensive lineman, fumble it on the goal line. So just 2 very sloppy operations. It felt kind of fitting that at the end it was Clemson winning that game just because I felt like Miller Moss did not do anything special to elevate that Louisville offense. It was just a rough watch.
He didn't get enough whispers.
No, he
Must
did
not have.
That's
I
unfortunate.
mean, this is just the ACC in a nutshell. This has been the ACC for the last, I feel like, 3 years, where Like, nothing ever makes sense. The conference never goes the way you think it's going to go. The teams that you do feel good about, you should never feel good about. Like, I mean, we're 3 weeks removed from saying, oh, Louisville, driver's seat, they look like the best team in the ACC. They're probably going to win the conference. They're going to go be in the playoff. No, they're going to drop 2 games in a row to 2 teams that they're better than. Like, that's just the ACC. So I think it's fitting for that conference that yet another team that looks like they are going to be playoff bound has crapped down their leg, unfortunately. So now Georgia Tech, it's your turn. Let's see if you can do it.
They tried to do it on Saturday.
They sure did.
Yeah, that Boston College team, scrappy 1-9.
Real good.
Scrappy 1-9 out there, dog. Watch out. You know, Bill O'Brien. Who's putting up a tougher fight right now, 1-9, than the Boston College Eagles?
How many teams are 1-9? That's the next
Great
question.
point. Oh, Oregon State, my Beavers. My Beavers out here fighting at 1-9.
Yeah, I think Boston College is putting up more of a fight than
You're correct.
Oregon State.
You're
Yeah,
correct.
I think so.
Objectively speaking.
Yeah, I was about to make an inappropriate joke.
Ha.
Save it for after the show.
All right.
Save it for after
I think
the show.
I could see where that one was heading.
Yeah. Those 2 missed field goals, man. The Foot Fairies having a bad year.
Oh, I can't.
Speaking of, I can't wait to get to John Talty. Should we just go ahead?
Let's do it.
Let's just go
Let's
ahead.
do it.
Oklahoma beats Alabama, whips their ass on special teams, has 3 turnovers in the football game. Offense makes just enough plays, particularly in the red area. And then John Talty has the biggest loser moment of the weekend. Or Connor Talty, not John Talty. John Talty's a journalist. Connor Talty is a loser.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's harsh to say, but I agree. I thought that was, I did not
He
like
was a loser
saying
in that moment.
Very, very loser in that moment.
Yeah.
But he's also missed a lot of field goals this year,
Yes,
He
he
missed
has.
one against Georgia.
even on good snaps. So, and by the way, he shinned it. The field goal holder got the damn ball down, and he hit it with his shin. Like, come on. Were you messing? You messed your timing up? These Foot Fairies, man, they're such in their own head all the time. I'm out.
Yeah. Outside of that, going into like the actualities of this game and what it really boiled down to, I mean, Oklahoma won this game exactly how Oklahoma has to win games. I think I saw a stat the other day that said in Oklahoma's last 2 games, or in their games against Tennessee and Alabama, they've only had 1 possession where they've started from behind the 50-yard line and have scored.
Defense.
That's it right there. 1 possession in the last 2 games where they've had to cross the 50-yard line and score.
That's insanity. But no, like I said on Thursday that whatever the outcome of this game would be, I feel like it would make perfect sense. And it did, absolutely. Alabama lost the game in the ways that they've been kind of deficient all season. They couldn't really run the football. If Ty Simpson got heated up, he wasn't really able to do anything as effective. He was not as effective as a passer. They weren't good on special teams. They had a fumble on a punt, missed field goals, obviously, and Oklahoma's defense was ultimately suffocating. And they did enough in the special teams department and turnover department to win. Like, it wasn't like Oklahoma's offense or John Mateer willed their way to that victory.
The amount of negative plays that offense from Alabama takes makes my tummy hurt. They get put into the amount of 2nd and 20s you see, the amount of 3rd and 16s. Hard to do offense that way.
Yep.
I mean, even if you move they do a tremendous job moving the ball in between the 20s. Tremendous. But all it takes is 2 of those negative plays back to back, and you're in 3rd and 16, and you can get up off the field now.
I mean, I remember us saying this. I want to say it was like maybe week 5 or week 6 of the season, and Alabama was like really hitting their peak. Ty Simpson playing quarterback better than anybody at that point. And I remember us sitting here kind of saying, like, it doesn't feel sustainable. Like, what their offense is doing, what Ty Simpson is having to do to keep this offense on track and to keep them on the board consistently, it doesn't feel sustainable. And it's because of what you're talking about, where there are so many negative plays that this offense takes because they can't run the ball and because they can't protect Ty at times, where they are facing 3rd and longs and 2nd longs consistently, where the amount of times that you are going to have to convert a 3rd and 12, it doesn't seem sustainable to where you're going to be able to do that against everybody in this conference week to week.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it, of how like it's going to take Ty Simpson continuing to be elite for this team to get across the finish line. And here we are. We were 2 weeks removed saying, like, Alabama might be one of the best teams in the country. You don't want to play them. And now here we are. It's like Alabama might not make the playoff this year because of the deficiencies that they've had, just haven't gotten fixed. So it's very interesting to see.
I feel like that was the first time all year it looked like the quarterback was uncomfortable with all the things that they were asking him to do.
Absolutely.
He looked very deer in the headlights at times.
Yeah. He looked very uncomfortable for the first time all year. I thought he came over to Athens and looked like a smooth sailor.
Oh,
Yeah.
4 weeks into the damn season. That he looked like he was very, very uncomfortable with what he was seeing at all times. And that's a testament to that defense. And we talked about it.
That's what they do.
That's what that team does, man. You give Brett a pulse offensively, he's going to be a playoff team. They have won their last 2 SEC games with like 280 yards of total offense. A pulse.
Yeah, and Alabama.
Barely a pulse. Like they're on life support.
And Alabama like 400 plus, right?
Yeah. Dude, Tennessee moved the ball up and down the damn field on them.
Yeah.
Like worked them in total yardage. You can't look at that when you play this Oklahoma football team. You cannot look at total yardage because all that matters is third down, turnovers, and chunks. That's it.
And
they're great at those.
And that's one thing that I've noticed, like watching this Oklahoma defense throughout this year, is when they force you into a mistake, it's not just one of those like dang, they got me that. They're gut punches. They feel like, oh, like everything that we just built up, like all the momentum we just captured in this game, like they suck it right out. Like it is gone. It is eviscerated in that very moment. Like that's what those turnovers feel like for those defense.
You're a big Bill Simmons guy, right?
Yeah.
You know how Bill's got this innate ability to like claim people are hurt or claim people are injured?
Yeah.
Adam East, 1226, has been in every Alabama comment
I have seen this.
that we have done, claiming that Jam Miller essentially has a dead right leg, that his right leg does not move. And I haven't studied Alabama football hard enough, or at least Jam Miller's specific patterns of movement, to point this out. But Adam swears as if it's like guaranteed. He put his mortgage on it. He put his loved ones' lives on it. Every single time I talk about Alabama, it's Jam Miller's got a bionic right leg that doesn't move right.
Maybe Bill can confirm or deny for us.
I'll reach out to Bill. We'll see what we got going on.
Bionic leg, shouldn't he move better?
No, it's a bionic leg that's coating's off.
Okay.
Yeah, chip's not in. You
Just
know?
put some WD-40 on it.
So there's that. Yeah. Spit on it.
Okay.
Ole Miss escape. Ole Miss escapes Florida.
Yeah. Kirby and I rewatched this game before the show. Just like
Kind of yucky, huh? Yucky filled with explosives.
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what it was.
exactly how you could describe it. Surprisingly, I thought like Ole Miss won this game on the ground. Kewan Lacey was amazing for them. Picked up some major yards for them on the ground. They got into that jumbo package,
Yeah.
I think like 8 times in that game, and
my
that was their
God.
bread and butter, or at least what they thought was their bread and butter.
So I've been texting with sources today. There's a lot going on with Lane. Sources reporting, some people reporting he's not even in Oxford right now. I can confirm he's in Oxford. He's prepping for Mississippi State right about now. Now, whether or not he gets coached in that football game, I don't know.
That's up to him.
Oh, it's up to him. It's up to him. By the way, that's the craziest thing to me. How in the world can a football program tell their head coach he's not allowed to coach? How is that going to happen?
I don't know.
That's not going to happen. Stop bluffing.
They're going to take his credential away from him?
Also, if he does choose to leave, this is your best opportunity to win a national title, maybe ever.
Yeah.
So y'all better, we love you, Lane. One last ride, baby. Let's make it good. Hot, passionate love down the stretch right quick for us, Lane, and then you can dip out and leave.
But yeah, I mean, the first half for Florida, the way that they were able to capture lead going into halftime was DJ Lagway hit some massive throws for Florida, some explosive plays. And in the second half, they were not doing that. They were taking some negative plays.
I also felt like Florida defensively played disruptive enough to put them in a position to win. They had a huge interception. It felt like Trinidad Chambliss, while he was making
It looked ugly early.
and making impressive
Yeah.
plays with his legs, like he was getting heated up. He was having to make decisions, and he was having to play on the fly, something that didn't feel sustainable, but it just was not enough for them. The explosives were nowhere to be found in the second half of that offense.
31 for 224 for Kewan Lacey. I tweeted it in the lead up for that Ole Miss football game against Georgia, just studying the tape of that. I think he's the most underrated ball carrier in the conference. Like everybody's looking at Ahmad Hardy. Ahmad Hardy's doing great stuff. This guy This guy's doing stuff behind the line of scrimmage, making negatives into +8s. And he finally got some creases this weekend and put up 224 on it. Like, that guy is nuts. I was texting somebody today. I think, honest to God, 1 versus 11, he might get positive yardage. Like, he makes people miss that bad. Like, he's that good at making guys miss.
So, yeah, I mean, it was good for Ole Miss that you did escape that one, because the last thing you probably want to do, despite what Mississippi State looks like, last thing you want to do is have your playoff hopes on the line in the Egg Bowl on a Friday.
Oh, no. Is that a Friday game now?
Yeah, it's noon.
Y'all want to talk about USC holding off or coming from behind to beat Iowa?
Yeah, I actually had this one on my laptop screen because in the press box they had the Oklahoma-Alabama game. So I put this one on my laptop just to keep tabs. Iowa jumps out to a 14-0 lead with some explosive plays on offense.
Buddy,
throwing the football.
That was the most Iowa shit I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
You look up and Iowa walks it the first drive, scores. Hey, turnover on downs, short field, scores again. It's 14-0. The second quarter starts, and you're like, wait a minute. What happened?
Yeah.
I'm down 14-0. There's 10 minutes left in the second quarter. I finally got the ball back for the third time.
And it is weird because, like, when Iowa gets up multiple scores, part of you is like, oh, they might just win now because you got to score 14 points on that defense, and then you got to regain a lead on that defense. And then the other part of you is like, this offense has to keep a lead against USC, against this offense, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, in the second half, Iowa had 4 total possessions. 3 of the 4 possessions were 5 plays or less. USC proceeded to go field goal, touchdown to open up the second half. That was ball game. That was it. Iowa's offense was a dead body in the second half. Couldn't move, not even an inch, until the final possession where they went 10 plays and then turned it over on downs.
Yeah, I mean, shame on us, honestly, for thinking a pace of 42 points was going to be managed by the Iowa offense. 21 points in the first half was great, but that was not sustainable whatsoever. And it kind of felt that way. It felt like Iowa kind of, emptied everything out they had. They did the Philly special for a touchdown, had a lot of good explosive plays. And then the second half, it was just standard Iowa offensive operations. It was like, we've got nothing. If we're going to win because we can run the football and maybe get a few passes, but they did not.
And these are the games that Lincoln had to start winning for people to really start taking him seriously in the Big Ten. Like a nitty-gritty win against Iowa where it's piss and rain, everything is against you, like all that stuff. Like pure Big Ten football, like what you imagine in the month of November. That's what you got in this game. Him pulling out wins like this, that's what makes you think like, oh, Lincoln Riley, you could take him seriously now in this conference, and then you'll find out this weekend when they go play Oregon.
Yep. Absolutely, which is where we're headed next. Our Week 13 previews, and we're running a little bit behind. That's okay. We got a long show ahead of us. I just want to say this. If you're looking at the slate this weekend and you're like, dang, not a lot of good matchups, not a lot of good football games. Don't worry about that. Next year, it'll be taken care of because the SEC will be playing one another this week. It's that November, cupcake football game that they all get right now because they play 8 conference games. That's the wired take or the tired take. The wired take is the fact that if the SEC isn't playing one another and isn't providing these blue chip matchups every single weekend, we ain't got shit to talk about. So let's talk about the one that we do have. USC at Oregon. It's a massive football game for both of these football teams. They are 2 of the 3 remaining teams competing for that 3rd playoff spot in the Big Ten. Everybody assumes Indiana and Ohio State, rightfully so, are destined to face off in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship. Oregon, USC, and Michigan, those 3 football teams still left with an opportunity to win out and have a shot at that 3rd spot. Guys, I think these 2 football teams are really evenly matched, to be honest with you. I think they're both really good at the line of scrimmage. I think they both attempt to establish balance offensively. They both have really talented quarterbacks. They both have stout and respectable defenses. They're relatively evenly matched. For me, this game comes down to 2 advantages, right? I think Oregon obviously has a home field advantage. Autzen is really, really special place to play football games. Not only that, 50 degrees, expected to be windy. It's Oregon November weather up there this weekend. That should play an advantage to the home football team that is used to this stuff. Hell, I've been out there in the summer and it's gross. This football game, weather-wise and home field advantage, plays into favor of Oregon, obviously. For USC, to me, it's the fact that Mekhi Lemon will be the best playmaker and the biggest difference maker in this ball game. Oregon's run defense has been superb as of late, which is important to note going into this one, allowing just 91 yards on the ground in their last 3 football games. Granted, 2 of those last 3 games were dominating on the scoreboard, so teams playing from behind, throwing the football a lot. But they've been good against the run when they opened up the season, not necessarily so much so at it.
Yeah, you hit one of my notes of Mekhi Lemon is
Freak show, man.
Probably the most special player in this game.
Honest to God, he's the first 5'11" any ball's his ball guy I've seen in a minute. That guy is not a super freak. Like, he is from a skill set standpoint, but from a height weight guy, this isn't one of those. But he is just give him a chance. He'll go get it. It's the first time at that size I've seen that happen in college football in a while.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be
maybe
what.
Malik Neighbors. Maybe it hadn't been that long.
Yeah.
How tall is Malik Neighbors?
5'11", 5'10". He's not a big guy.
But I think that's going to have to be USC's avenue to winning this game is getting those many explosives, because I don't think we're giving this Oregon defense enough credit. They've allowed 20 points or more just twice this season. They have been absolutely suffocating. The one time was a double overtime game against Penn State, and the other was when they allowed 20 against Indiana. So it's not like they've really been giving it up at all this year, and I think that really plays into their advantage going against a USC offense that we all know Lincoln Riley teams have been predicated on explosive offensive plays.
Well, and considering what Oregon has been under Dan Lanning, I think that what you think of first is the offense, like the firepower that they have offensively because of what they've been able to do, like with Bo Nix and the transfer quarterbacks that they brought in, Dylan Gabriel, all those guys. They have put up points, and the offense has been very impressive. But I think people kind of forget who Dan Lanning is, like where he came from, what he was able to build with Kirby Smart at Georgia, like what his roots are. It is defensively. That is something that you should definitely be paying attention to when you play Oregon, because that guy – he's helping out with the defense. He's in control of that. And he's always had one of the best defenses in the country.
And I think they're one of these no stone unturned football programs too. You're not going to catch an Oregon football team unprepared, I don't think. You know? Ohio State's the only football team, and Georgia. Georgia and Ohio State have jumped on.
But you can't hold the Georgia game against them.
No, I can't. It's first ever coach.
That was a coaching debut.
But the Ohio State game is the only game
For
where
sure.
it's like, oh, you got rolled. It was over before it started.
They were not ready for that one.
No, and every other one, it seems like they come out pretty well prepared.
Absolutely.
For these types of football games. Let's move on to the SEC, the big one in the SEC this weekend. Missouri at Oklahoma. Guys, Ahmad Hardy just went for 300 against Mississippi State. He's their obvious lone opportunity to survive this one against an Oklahoma defense that is really, really tough to go up against for anybody. But they're number 2 in the country against the run. They have massive defensive ends and plenty of speed at the linebacker position to really counterbalance that wide zone attack and stretch attack from Missouri. It's a real bad matchup for Missouri. But
I agree.
I mean, again, Oklahoma's a bad matchup for everybody.
Yep.
Like, this defense is damn good. Missouri has a chance to finish the season, though, 8-4, having sustained 2 massive injuries at the quarterback position. I think that's worth commending Eli Drinkowitz and that staff. I don't know. There are a lot of people forecasting him to leave this place, or is he in one of these?
It's kind of died off.
Yeah, I think it might be an opportunity to stay here in Missouri, and I think he's building something there. Again, going 8-4 in the SEC with essentially your third stringer and a true freshman quarterback by the end of the year, I think that's relatively impressive.
And not that it may mean a whole lot for this game, but there has been some reporting that maybe Prbula is able to return for this game.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's Oklahoma's defense. It's just, again, tough matchup for them. And like this, it's kind of the same thing, though, like that you always say about Missouri heading into one of these conference games is that, I mean, your defensive front gives you a chance, though. Like, it always feels that way. Like, those guys, it seems like you always have an opportunity because you might be a strip sack away, or you might be those 2 guys just wreaking havoc against Oklahoma's offensive line, which is certainly possible. I mean, it's not like this is one of the best offensive lines in the conference by any means. I mean, they've struggled mightily against some of the teams. So that could be like a path for them to certainly win this one.
Yeah, and I think you looking at what the avenue for Oklahoma winning games recently has been, it's that defense creating opportunities for that offense by turnovers, or whether it be special teams plays. The offense has been kind of handed really, really good opportunities to score points here. If you can mitigate that as Missouri with Ahmad Hardy by not turning the football over, and then get some opportunities of your own, because we've seen John Mateer is liable to turn it over, you have a chance in this game. I just think that you have a much more uphill battle than Oklahoma does right now.
It's got 28-10 written on it. What I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I'm feeling.
I could see that.
Protect the playbook. Oklahoma's got a really, really favorable finish to the stretch.
They do.
It's Missouri and then Mississippi State.
I believe
that
no.
what they got?
Mississippi State plays Ole Miss.
They got Missouri and then somebody that they'll be heavily favored by.
LSU.
LSU. So really, really favorable stretch or finish for Oklahoma. They got past their super gauntlet, man. Dude, and they did it in tremendous fashion.
Sure did.
Going on the road in Neyland and winning at night, going on the road, giving Kalen DeBoer his first home loss in his tenure at Alabama, that's extremely impressive.
They did so without one of those moments. Other than Texas. Texas was one of those where John Mateer not healthy, offense couldn't move the ball. Texas is just they're doing everything that they can to make sure that they secure a win, and they do. That was the only that looked really bad for Oklahoma. Other than that, it's been they're in a fight. They come back down a little bit against Ole Miss. They ultimately don't win that game, but I mean, it's been a lot of good, hard-fought battles for them throughout the entire season.
We have a massively important game down in Gainesville this weekend, and I would dare say a must-win for a football coach who I feel as if is under no realistic pressure, and that's this Josh Heupel staff at Tennessee. Tennessee has not beaten Florida in Gainesville since the early aughts.
2003.
This is as close to a must-win football game for me as there is. Look, I'm not one that thinks you should even remotely be in the discussion of is Josh Heupel the guy. I 100% believe he is out there at Tennessee, but this is his chance to put an exclamation on that feeling from me, right? This is his chance to just put that away for good, and he's got to go out and dominate this football team like he did Kentucky a few weeks ago. This it reminds me a lot of that Georgia versus FSU football game several years ago. This is when I find out a lot about coaching staff's ability to get their kids to play hard when the outside narrative is that this does not matter, right? The season is over. The playoff hopes are done. We got to wind down. We got players hitting the portal and Boo Carter. We're getting rid of the bad out of here. This is the opportunity to go out there and establish, nope, we play to a standard no matter what. We play to a standard no matter what the outside narrative of the world says to us. We are a championship culture DNA football program.
You and I have pretty much the exact same note on this, in that it's not going to be the game that gets Josh Heupel fired. But I think that it could either be the game that cements the culture. I mean, you've had a very public breakup with Boo Carter right now. The season has taken a disappointing turn. All the reasons that you said. You're not necessarily playing for much except ending a streak that has been long overdue to end. I think that Tennessee fans would agree with. If you win this game, it does cement that, hey, things haven't gone great, but what we got out of Josh Heupel is really good. If you lose it, however, you're going to have a lot of Tennessee fans not call for the firing, but kind of jump off the boat.
Especially if you lose in the way that you've been losing. If you have 11 penalties, if you have red zone turnovers, if you're terrible in 2 minutes, if you can't tackle, if all of those areas of problems and concerns, realistic concerns about this Josh Heupel tenure right now, if all of those show up and you lose a game you should not, then that'll be a bad look. I don't even think winning closely is good enough for me for this exclamation point. I'm talking about go out and handle business. Because I thought watching them in that Georgia game, I thought watching them apart from one or two plays in that Oklahoma or that Alabama game, I thought apart from watching, several issues in the Oklahoma game, I felt like they got dominated. I'm not even going to say that. But that Georgia game and that Alabama game, I felt like they showed signs where they were playoff good enough. They were a good football team. They were a borderline great football team that was battling some injuries. That Oklahoma football game, I felt like the turnovers, the defense absolutely dominated that offense, apart from late, passing chunks. But this is a good football team. They should go handle business.
What is handling business for you?
2-score win.
Do you know what the line is?
It's got to be close to 5. It's not a lot.
3.5.
6.5.
Yeah, it's
3.5 points.
It's nerve-wracking. I don't like that.
But on the flip side of this, Florida has flirted with upsetting one of these teams so much that you almost get the feeling they're overdue for it.
I just talked about playing when it doesn't matter. Florida football players have been doing this for 2 straight years. They've been getting up off the mat for 2 straight years in games that did not matter late in the season and giving people freaking runs. So I know they are very capable of this. They are very talented. They're very capable of this. I'm just saying Tennessee's got an opportunity their staff has an opportunity to go out and show the world that we can get these boys up at any point in the season when we need to go get a dominating win.
No, I agree. It should be one of those, or like that's what you're hoping for if you're a Tennessee fan, because at that point, like a close win against Florida, it means a lot because of what the history says about you in Gainesville, but certainly got to be one of those like really good feel-good wins.
Let's get to the Super Chubs, boys, before we get to the local hour. Looking at Welcome to Heaven 06 says, found your channel a couple of weeks ago. Looking forward to the A&M versus South Carolina breakdown tomorrow. That must be an Aggies fan. Welcome to the channel. We appreciate you for being here. Hold My Beer Man says, Darnell Big O Washington out here making NFL defenders look like toddlers. How about him? Yeah, Disso at about 305. My boy probably hard to tackle out of that.
Yeah.
My boy hard to tackle. What else we got? Val SC says, but what happens if A&M gets to the playoffs and busts, though?
Oh, I mean, if they're a playoff team, they're a playoff team. You make the tournament, that's been my knock.
In year 2 of Mike Elko, you make the playoffs, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, I'm not going to laugh at them for a first-round exit.
Still a young football team, too, I think.
Seems like it.
I mean, they'll lose Craver and Concepcion, but other than that, really young football team. Marcel Reed probably back another year. 910 Cooper says, overheard some Texas fans in the bathroom line at Sanford saying they were surprised how loud it was. Belt to ass in Sanford. Everyone was elite Saturday.
Oh, the belts were out.
They were out.
The belts were out for sure.
The belts were out. Tempo_33 says, hey, guys, as a Buckeye fan, I have a large amount of respect for what you guys do. I enjoy learning more about ball each and every week. Keep up the amazing work. I hope the Big Ten will stop being selfish about their all-22 access. Hey, man, all my homies are propositioning the Big Ten and Veritone to allow all-22 access.
Rally the homies and join us.
Rally the homies and join us. We got to get that all-22 access. Got to break that communist chain of content creation. You know what I mean? Allow the folks to learn. Allow the folks to learn, please. Sammy, missed last week's show, but went to South Carolina at A&M. This week I'm going up to Kentucky at Vandy. Is UGA the only team in the country that is playing better down the stretch, and do you think they can win it all? I would argue Texas Tech is peaking right now.
Yeah, Texas Tech's definitely peaking.
Texas Tech playing good football. Ohio State ain't never showed a down tick.
No.
Haven't
They just been
yet.
playing good, consistent ball all year long.
We'll see in 2 weeks.
We'll see. I guess Michigan. We'll see. But yeah, I mean Georgia's playing their best version of football right now.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly seems like that they have been getting better and better and better at the right time.
Correct. Oh, we got one more. What does Texas got to do to get over the hump? We ain't even close. Great game. Love the show. Hook 'em.
From someone who has experience with trying to get over the hump, you just got to pray it's your day one day.
Not even that.
No, dead serious.
Yes, but there's things you can do to fix it.
Like hope it's in a natty.
I just hope it happens.
Yeah,
it starts by making the plays that you have to.
that's true.
Texas had a walk-in touchdown on the first drive of the game that was dropped. Stuff like that. There were a handful of drops and inopportune moments in that game that ultimately cost them. Yes, I know that Georgia won that game by 25 points. Texas was in striking distance deep into that second half. You have to make things and do things that mitigate other bad plays on your end, and Texas just didn't do that enough. Now, obviously, the onside and things like that were really the death blow, but fixing your execution on your side typically helps. Georgia had the same issue against Alabama this year. Yeah. Dropped pick, fumble inside your red zone, things like that ultimately were the difference in a 3-point loss.
I will say this. Georgia, for the Alabama game, those things were all true. They lost by 3. Georgia played really well against Texas. Texas did not. You lost by 15. That's the bigger issue 25. Here is that you're not 25. You lost by 25 points. So that's the bigger thing is that.
So
it's getting handled.
I don't want to cause any fire alarms, but I don't think they are as good offensively as a Steve Sarkisian offense normally is because Steve Sarkisian is also the head football coach. That's just my opinion.
It's true.
And I have stood by this opinion, and I will continue to stand by this opinion. And maybe defensive coordinators can get away with it a little bit easier because, I don't know, maybe you're just reading off analytics and you're saying, hey, they're in 3-by-1. Everything's already, we played this versus this picture. It's not as complicated as coordinating as an offensive game plan would be, I would imagine. So, like, I say this, and Elko's having a lot of success right now being a defensive play caller, but he's really the what do you call it, the anomaly, right? Like, I don't think their offense is all that eccentric anymore. I don't feel like it is.
But is that due to Steve Sarkisian being overwhelmed, or is that due to we think we have limits at our quarterback position? Because we said this last year when it was like, hey, we feel like Quinn Ewers might be holding this offense back a little bit. I personally felt like Sark called that game with the idea of, okay, there are certain things that we don't necessarily believe Arch Manning can do.
I'm going to say put it on pause, go to the local hour. I think we're kind of blowing out some of our talk there.
You're right. Let's do it. Let's go to the local hour. We'll talk about this more to start. Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into our local hour, as our executive producer, Jonathan, so rightfully directed us into. Let's continue this discussion, because I know a lot of Texas fans are lingering over from our national hour, and this is relative to our Georgia folks as well. There's certainly a hurdle for Texas against this Georgia football program, and I was talking to Jonathan about it in the break while Kirby was maybe using the restroom. But anyways, I don't think they're all that hard to prepare for anymore. They're still really hard to defend because they got good football players. But I watch defenses be immensely prepared for this offense every single time. And just one example of what to look for in terms of how I feel about this, and it shows up every single game. Watch the underneath hook curl players in play action, which the whole passing offense of Texas, its chunk plays, are predicated off of play action. Watch those underneath hook defenders. They will read their run fits. They will immediately snap their head around. They'll find the deep over. They'll run up underneath it. They'll take it away. And it happens over and over and over again because I do think they are, I'm not going to say simplistic. I just think they're very easy to prepare for because I don't know how much the offense has changed over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. And honestly, this analysis, as I'm giving it, it sounds very similar to Georgia's defense. Georgia's defense sounds very pickable to start football games because they have principles. They have principles that they do for certain things, and they're compromisable. And if we compromise the principles for 12 plays in a row, we might be able to walk the ball down the field. But if your principles are compromisable on the offensive side of the football, you're going to be in 3rd and long, and your ass is going to be off the field.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. So maybe that's what we've stumbled into with Texas, especially in this football game. Like, you really saw it in film study today. They lined up in the same defensive front that they've given these guys for years.
Yep.
And they boxed that run game for the 3rd straight year in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll continue to do so.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because Texas overall, like recruiting-wise, talent-wise, they have gotten better. Like Sarkisian has elevated the talent on that roster. Like every metric says that. But it doesn't feel as if that's the case. It doesn't – like it felt like Georgia overwhelmed them. It felt like Georgia just completely like out-muscled them, outmatched them. Like that's what it felt like watching. And it's weird to say that considering what Texas has done over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and people want to point out, too, it's a physicality thing. And obviously what Kirby Smart said in that presser afterwards would certainly fire up that narrative even more. But I didn't feel like we were watching two teams where it was like, oh, this one team was just absolutely more physical. There was absolutely a team that had a bigger edge, definitely a bigger edge on that. But we talked about talent-wise, a discrepancy. There wasn't a 25-point difference between those two rosters. There wasn't a 25-point difference between the talent. I do agree with you that it's probably at a point where the schematics of it have grown probably a little stale and need some revitalizing. And on top of it, you're not getting as many playmakers. Like, if you think about the best version of a Steve Sarkisian offense, it's with 4 first-round draft picks at the wide receiver position, a really, really dangerous running back and a guy like Najee Harris, and a quarterback that, while he might not be this oh my God, elite talent.
Yeah.
He does play on time and he does play well. Like, that's what the best version of that offense is, and that talent's just not on this roster right now.
I was on several Texas podcasts leading up to this football game, and I do think there is a schematical flaw with the run game. I think that if the answer is, well, we don't have 2 NFL caliber tackles, so we can't run the ball, then we might need to figure out different ways to run the ball, because you're not going to have 2 first-round tackles or 2 top 90 picks at tackle every single year.
No.
Like, the Gooseby kid's good. The Brandon Baker kid was a top 32 pick coming out of high school. Like, these are supposed to be blue-chip football players, and y'all can't run the ball. Like, DJ Campbell was a top 100 football player at guard. Y'all can't run the ball. It's so – I think it is a lot to do with scheme. Like, and not only that, like, they get their ass stuffed every single time they play Georgia. They get whipped at the line of scrimmage. Like, I know people say there's not a lot of talent discrepancy. There's a way them boys play discrepancy every time they line it up. Like, Georgia is so far and away bringing that crap to them at the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the football versus Georgia's offense. There is no doubt that Texas's defensive line and defensive box play is elite. They get after it too, but they did give up 130 yards on the ground on Saturday because they were left on the field a little bit too long in the fourth.
Yeah.
So.
And like the way that I have felt about this Georgia-Texas matchup, and especially in the last 3 games, actually, like all 3 matchups, is that there have been moments in every single game where it's a close matchup. You're kind of waiting to see like who's going to give the next punch, and it feels like Texas is just kind of waiting and seeing and hoping that one of their players just steps up and does it for them. Kirby Smart or Mike Bobo has done it the inverse. Like when Georgia had their backs backed up a little bit in the first matchup in Austin, Bobo pulls out this play call and hits Oscar Delp deep for a massive explosive to get Georgia out of their own end, and it sets them up in a prime position to take it over. Kirby Smart calls a fake punt in the SEC championship game, which ultimately helps him win that game. And in this one, it's calling an onside. Like, Sarkisian looks like he's kind of waiting and hoping that someone does it for him. Kirby is taking it by him damn self and saying, no, this is what we're doing.
Chat's like Delafonte says they haven't had a good running back since Bijan. Au contraire. Like, I think Wisner's one of their best offensive players right now. He is making guys miss constantly because he's having to even get any type of positive yardage. And then it's terrible.
It's also funny that like Bijan Robinson's not the baseline for a good running back.
That dude's generational.
Like, that's like saying they haven't had a good tight end since Brock Bowers. No, like Brock Bowers is the epitome of what a great player at that position is. So I disagree with that.
Yeah. But he definitely does have a Kirby problem.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just like Kirby's got a Bama problem.
For sure. It
until
happens,
it's gone. I mean, they've all got them. I talked about this on Sunday. I feel like there's hurdles for all of these guys except for Saban. That was about it. Like, all of them have their things that they've got to overcome. None of them are perfect.
But, I mean, Saban for the first 2 years had a Florida hurdle. Now, he got over that hurdle much quicker.
Was that a Tim Tebow hurdle or a Florida hurdle?
I mean, that was a Florida hurdle. Like, that Florida team was very, very good. Yeah. They beat them in the 2008 SEC championship. But Saban had a hurdle at first, and he got over it in his 3rd season, where it seems like it's taken longer for other guys. But every coach has hurdles they have to get over, and once you do get over these hurdles, it feels like there's nothing that can stop you.
It's just I go back to it again. Like, it's so weird to see a Kyle Flood-led offensive line be that bad. Like, they're bad.
Mm-hmm.
We charted it. He was hit 12 plays out of the first 48. And that doesn't account all the runs and all the screen passes and all the times he's never going to get hit.
I mean, between flipping through your photo album after the game and watching the defensive tape today, there wasn't a single play it felt like where that guy was just standing in the pocket delivering the ball like cleanly. It was a Georgia player was within a half a yard almost every single time.
It's tough. I got film notes. You want them?
Let's hear them.
All right, let's start with the offense. I still can't believe that in 2025, teams still come out and play Georgia and think it's okay to line up in one coverage and expect not to get picked apart. I've seen this year over year, and I don't know why people expect different results. Look, I've never been a defensive coordinator. I'm just a fat head with a microphone. That being said, the best defenses that I study don't play the same thing all the time. They don't. And I thought Texas lined up in cover 3 for about 90% of those snaps, and Georgia attacked the principles of cover 3 for 99% of those snaps that they lined up in it. They attacked the seams and the flats for 4 freaking quarters, And Texas never once changed their motive. Never, not once did they move out of, oh, maybe we should play man. Oh, maybe we should get into some two-high cover 2. Oh, maybe we should get into some quarters match. Nope. Lined up in cover 3 the whole football game and got shredded for it. Every big play that you saw was a primary read cover 3 principle beater. So much so that we had Texas fans in my mentions calling Georgia's offense a non-pro style offense, saying that this is air raid and that this is pick and stick and that this is they scouted and they called plays at such a rate that people on the outside world that don't know ball looked at Gunner as if he had an easy job on Saturday. Nope. Y'all just made it easy to an extent in some of the passing departments.
And I was going to say, it felt very much to me like watching that game that Texas kind of picked the sword that they were going to fall on of we're either going to have Gunner Stockton dissect us for 4 quarters or we're going to let them run all over us. And we're not going to let this team run all over us.
The thing is, though, I think if they would have took the safety out of the box, Georgia would have ran for 175 yards instead of 130. But you probably wouldn't have given up all the explosives.
Agreed.
You probably would have had a chance.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know, like at least changing the pictures or doing something. And again, like it's easy to sit here and say that. You know, it's easy to sit here and say you gotta change some things. And they're very, very young in the back end. They got young corners. And Taff, it was his first game back. So there's reasons why they were. I don't mean to be super, super critical of a defensive coordinator who's done a tremendous job since he's been there. But it was, to me, it was like, damn, dude, made it a little easy. Made it a little easy.
That's also kind of what's so hard about playing a offense that is this well balanced.
Yeah.
Like last year, you could kind of do this to Georgia and be like, yeah, run the ball, go ahead, or throw the ball. Either way, like you're not going to be able to you pick one or the other. You're not going to be able to do both.
It's what you're talking about. It's my next note. They have so many different things that look similar. They do so many different things out of the same look that they're really, really hard to defend. Everything is built on their ability to run the football and the defense's fear of them running the football. And their quarterback Gunner is the perfect playmaker for this system at the moment, and he's executed every single time they've called his number. I think that play on 1st and 10 where Colin Simmons is the read player, we've got a tight end into the arrow, or a tight end running an arrow into the flat, and Colin Simmons is hitting Gunner as soon as he gets the football, it feels like, and he immediately gets the ball out. Oscar makes the play on the other end. They pick up 7 yards, 2nd and 3. Next play, they take a shot. It's like that type of playmaking at the position at quarterback right now has been elite, high-level football. I would say since Auburn.
Yeah.
Like following Auburn, I don't think he has had a play where it's like, we got to make that one. He's made them all, it feels like, down the stretch so far. As have the rest of the skill players, man. They are balling out. The layered throw to Oscar off truck toss action was elite. That is an elite play. And I think it speaks a lot to and they don't take credit for this. They throw it all at Gunner. But I don't know of a football player right now at the quarterback position that is developing this rapidly midseason. Is anybody getting this much better? Like, we're honest to God, Marcel Reed had a great comeback performance on Saturday. But the same issues that he's had week 1 in terms of, he can't climb the pocket. He's got some happy feet. He sails balls over the middle. All those issues are still there. They're finding ways to win around them. This football player has had limitations from week 1 that are now somewhat strengths.
Yeah.
Week 12. Like that's elite quarterback development mid-year. And again, the staff will credit all of that to the quarterback being very aware and very hardworking and very self-aware of what his issues are and then correcting them. But that's a lot on the football coaching staff, too. That's a lot on 100%. Streeter. That's a lot on Mike Bobo. That's a lot on all of them.
100%.
And credit to both of them because you've heard them talk about how hard Gunner Stockton is on himself. And on top of that, these coaches also being hard and emphasizing, hey, this is where we need you to develop. This is where we need you to be more proficient. So shout out to both of them.
I felt like by the midway through the 4th quarter, they had thrown so many mesh points, so many jets, so many different run looks, so many different quarterback boots, so many different play actions into the flat, so many different things that look the same that by the 4th quarter, they had great players like Anthony Hill playing flat-footed. And if you get Anthony Hill playing wrong, you've done something right because that guy is so freaking good I mean, how many looks in the fourth quarter did we see Anthony Hill making the wrong decision because he's got a tight end going across his face, but the running back's coming back this way. But 2 plays ago, they just booted the quarterback and hit the tight end into the flat. Oh, but 3 plays ago, they just hit me with this, and now they're running count. Boom.
I think the most beautiful thing about Georgia's offense this year is how Bobo and that staff has maximized it. Like, every single player on the field is used with a purpose, and you notice it's like the tight ends, they're used so like, and they're in the right spots every single time, and they're used in so many different ways, and they do so many different things. You don't know what they're going to do. Zachariah Branch is constantly moving all over the field. You have no idea where he's going to line up or where he's going to be or what he's actually doing in the play. Noah Thomas is constantly tilting the field for this offense. Even like a guy like Josh McCray, when he gets in the game, you can see it. Like, defenses, like, they are expecting him to do something. Like, they are paying attention to number 2 being on the field. You saw it on the 4th and 1 conversion. I mean, everybody was dialed in on that guy getting the ball.
I think what you're getting into is tendency breaking.
Yeah.
I think his own tendency breaking this year has been tremendous.
Uh-huh.
I think he's set up a lot of winners showing something over and over and over. I mean, his Fox screens over the last 4 or 5 weeks have been massive explosives that have all been predicated off of that play y'all hate, which is that screen into the flat. So he's been doing a lot of layering as a play caller this year as well.
And this goes back to the original talk that we've had, and this was even in 2024. When your players execute plays at certain levels, it opens the door for even more plays because teams all season long have feared Josh McCray, have feared screens into the flats, have feared things like that, to where now it opens a whole other door for a play call to you, so you're not feeling like you have your arm tied behind your back while you're calling plays.
Hot take. I don't think Georgia will start another quarterback moving forward as long as Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo are together that doesn't have an ability to add balances to the counts with his legs.
Okay.
Well,
offense is way easier when you can do it.
Well, I think you can answer this. The last 2 quarterback commits they picked up, they fit the mold?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Jared Curtis had a damn touchdown reception
that was
on
nuts.
Saturday.
I mean, even
Friday
Not
night.
the sidebar. That was nuts.
Insane. He's a great athlete.
Catching the ball over the middle in the end zone.
Even
Great athlete.
Even Ryan Puglisi fits this mold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think they'll have another guy that's like, oh, he's a pocket passer.
I think I could be wrong. I think the pocket passer is dead in college football.
Yeah, I thought it died with Joe Burrow.
But Joe Burrow,
once we saw what Burrow was doing, it was like that's the bare minimum. You have to be that good of an athlete. At least as a scout, that's mine. My line is, are you as good of an athlete as Joe Burrow? Is the answer no? Then you might not be able to play this position long term.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, Joe Burrow threw for almost 6,000 yards and was still running quarterback draw against Clemson in a national title.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not. You can't. It's way too hard to consistently run the football unless your quarterback can get after it with his legs too, especially in the red zone. Like, y'all wonder why they're so good in the red zone right now. It's because their damn quarterback is causing all these problems. I mean, hell, 2 of the touchdowns Saturday were created off of Gunner. One with his legs. The other, we just ran truck quarterback toss for a first down on 2nd and 12, and now we're showing the same look. And, damn, there goes the tight end naked in the back end of the end zone. How'd that happen? Oh, they were worried about quarterback run. That's how. Like, all that stuff is what I think will ultimately – and it's not just them. I think it's a lot of these football programs moving forward. If you can't run sub 4.8, you're not playing. You're not. So you better get on the track. You better go start running. You can't just be a guy who throws it pretty no more.
Yeah.
No. Or you have to have some of the most elite pocket recognition and movement we've ever seen, like Tom Brady.
Yeah, just be one of one.
Yeah.
Just be a
That's the
unicorn.
only other avenue.
Oh, and by the way, you still have to, like, fall into the starting position like he did.
Mm-hmm.
To show that you got all that.
Yep.
Because I still think we're going to go with the traits before we play the intangibles.
Understandable.
You know? Let's get into the defensive notes. Just immense pressure for an entirety of 4 quarters. It was insane to watch live. It was even more insane to watch on film. I stopped charting after the first 48 snaps, but Georgia hit, pressured, or pushed Arch off his spot on 12 of the first 48 snaps. That doesn't include the 20-some-odd snaps where he ran the ball. Essentially, if they dropped Arch Manning back in a traditional pass concept standard drop back, he was getting hit all night long.
Zayden Walker got his first sack.
Jaden Walker got his
Strip.
first sack. Gabe Harris, that sorry sack of an edge rusher, got his first sack of the season as well.
And I think this was what made this game that much more impressive than last year's in the regular season, where last year it felt like, man, this is the Jalen Walker takeover, and Damon Wilson's getting in there as well, and you got some other guys adding in. This felt like it was by committee. It felt like everyone was getting after the quarterback, and everyone was succeeding in doing so.
I mean, the one player that I was most impressed with was DeMello.
Yeah,
that was.
We're going to talk about him.
Yeah, not to dive into that too much, but watching a guy like, not even like it was like he set the tone early on, but that guy played that way for all 4 quarters, and he did it every single time they tried something his way.
With a J.J. Watt robo arm.
Yeah,
Got a big old brace on his elbow. He's still not healthy.
If there was a throw into the flat near DeMello Jones, that dude was about to blow it up, and he did every single time.
If there was a jet sweep to the flat, if there's been a truck toss to his way the last 3 weeks, I felt like he saved a touchdown against Florida.
Yeah,
with his run support, like he has absolutely set edges like a damn defensive end the last several weeks, and against tight ends too. The big play he made this week, or both of them, were him dipping underneath a tight end, setting the edge, turning it back in.
Is it too soon or bad luck to say the way he's playing right now over the last 2 games reminds me of a cornerback that played here about 2 years ago?
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of the Kamari stuff.
From a physicality and tackling standpoint.
He's more talented than Kamari. I know it's going to sound crazy.
No, it doesn't.
God gave him more. I think Kamari's a better overall athlete, though. Kamari's never in a bad spot. This kid has been a couple of times. Kamari never was.
But this is also his first year start. Kamari was.
I just think it's too easy to be like, oh, he tackles well. He reminds me of Kamari. They look and feel differently to me.
Well,
is that fair?
I think the comparison.
This feels more like to me if Tyson Campbell grew up in South Georgia. That's what it feels like to me.
That's fair. Like the comparisons to Kamari, I think like the physicality, all that stuff, and then also like the celebrations. Like Kamari was a lunatic every time he made a play. Like DeMello was the same thing. As like that guy looks like he's on something right now. Like what? Like he's having an out of body experience at the moment. Like those things are. It's like that does look like Kamari, but Kamari just had like Kamari felt like one of those players like he just has that dog in him. Like that guy just plays football. DeMello is like uber talented and also has that dog in him.
Tyson Campbell, if he grew up in Swainsboro, Georgia.
Yeah.
Instead of went to American Heritage. Like no shot at American Heritage. Okay, but it's a little bit different than I played ball in Swainsboro, Georgia. You know? And Tyson's a great football player. This kid's just, like you said, he's a lunatic.
Yeah.
He's a little bit crazy. I saw a good take on Twitter. Maybe they should just only recruit defensive players from
boroughs.
Yeah. Just Swainsboro, Statesboro, Swainsboro.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't be either. Yeah, good football at places like that, man. Just tough, gritty football. To me, it wasn't just the tackling, man. They bumped him into the nickel and let him cover in there, man. Like Tyson Campbell was not all that much longer. Like physically, they look identical. They're both 6'1 1/2. They're both, long-armed individuals. They're both linear athletes. They're not thick. Like Kamari's a thicker football player and a little bit more sawed off. I think the comp's perfect. Tyson Campbell with some grit to him. I thought there were several football players that had their best game of the season, most notably Elijah Griffin. Griffin, if you watch our film study from today, Elijah Griffin was a wrecking ball for 4 quarters and caused a lot of those move them off the spot moments. The TE stunts, the tackle in stunts in the pass rush department were phenomenally hit and really, really physically ran on Saturday, and it created a lot of problems, most of which due to number 90. Raylan Wilson stepped up big from a communication and snap standpoint and flashed when they needed him to. And I thought Chris Cole was all around the ball all night, it felt like. Now, with Chris, I need a lot of his plays to start happening closer to the line of scrimmage, and I think they will continue to do so as he continues to get comfortable. I asked him about this today. It was just like, man, you've been asked to do so much. Have you ever been able to really get comfortable? He just says, I just try to play free, which means, yeah, I remember my responsibilities, but I see ball, I get ball. That's what I'm doing right now. Now imagine what's going to happen when he knows where ball's going.
Yeah.
That's going to be scary.
I was kind of doing one thing while also listening to Kirby's presser today, and I heard him say that he, I believe you may have asked the question. He said that all linebackers wear the green dot at some point. He's talking about practice, right?
No, talking about in the game.
How does that work?
So they only allow you to talk to one player at a time, but the player who is being talked to at that time can change.
Huh.
No different than like, I would imagine there's green dots in the NFL that don't play 100% of the snaps because you have to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
So what I don't know is how they make sure you're not talking to 6 people at once.
That's
what
how
I
do you
don't
enforce that?
I don't know.
I guess so. Like those players.
And yes,
have
I did answer that question.
both. Yes. So those players have like multiple helmets.
Yeah. So if you get to a Georgia football game early enough, you'll see the comms guy walking out there with like 12 helmets.
Yeah, and I see him doing that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense now.
And
I guess.
you'll notice that Gunner's helmet's out there, Ryan's helmet's out there, both Ryans, Montgomery and Puglisi's helmets out there. And then I've seen safeties, linebackers, defensive lineman helmets all getting the comms checks pregame.
Okay. Gotcha.
The coach has 3 buttons. The head coach does. He's got offense, defense, green dot.
Gotcha.
And then the coordinator's got box, green dot, or overall coaching comms, green dot.
Okay.
And that can change as the game goes. Because, yeah, you can't have like mandatory the green dot play 100% of the snaps because everybody needs a breath.
Right.
And then eventually whoever replaced him has to get talked to.
Okay. I was just curious because I kind of heard it and I was like, that's a little interesting, but now it makes sense.
That too.
Let's see here. Elijah Griffin, DeMello Jones, we talked about, Raylan, Chris Cole. I think you figured them out in a sense. I don't think Georgia football players are ever more prepared for an opponent than when they are for Texas. That's the way I feel about them. They play faster. They play more confident. They play more knowing what's about to happen to them. And again, like it is 3 preps, but I felt like this game won when they played them. I felt like when they went out to Austin, it was like, uh-oh, they got this thing dialed. So there's that. It's also, as a line of scrimmage savant, as someone who really, really loves line of scrimmage play, it's really fun to watch them box the shit out of that offensive line every time they play them. I mean, they punch them in the mouth for 4 quarters. There is several plays in that film study where that offensive line, all 5 of them, park 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what do we do? Practice harder, maybe? I don't know. It's so funny because Kirby talked about it today, and I know this to be true because I go on these football pilgrimages and I go watch these other programs practice. They're all trying to practice like Georgia. How does Georgia practice? Yeah, they practice physically, but that is a place of reps. They take more reps than anybody else because they have more depth and more quality depth than anybody else. They 2 platoon. They basically run 2 practices every single day. That's why they practice longer, or they practice tighter and faster than everybody else. They're only out there for maybe 2.5 hours max on a Monday or a Tuesday. But, man, are they getting 40, 50, 60 reps per person during the day. So that's why.
And, you hear, like, people talk about, especially with, like, a defensive line of, like, when like an offensive line like Georgia's is playing the way they are, it's like, yeah, just get them in the 4th quarter. That offensive line is going to lean on them. I feel that way about Georgia's defensive line this year. You may not notice it really, like watching it on a TV copy, but I certainly do when I come in here on Monday mornings and we're breaking down defensive tape. And snap 1 looks a whole lot different, like not for Georgia. Like it looks the same for Georgia, but snap 1 compared to snap 60 for the opposing offensive line, them boys are done. They look done. They're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, I think Georgia has been outscored in the 4th quarter twice this year, and that was Kentucky and Mississippi State, both when those games were well in hand, both when you had 2nd and 3rd string guys going in. So it does speak to the physicality and not just the level of it, how it consistently maintains throughout and maybe even gets a little bit higher towards that 4th quarter.
Chat saying, why you got to talk about it? Why can't it be a secret? Buddy, it's open door policy for football coaches at Georgia. It's open door policy for NFL scouts. It is very well known that, hey, anybody can come watch Georgia and figure out how they're doing it, right? It doesn't mean you can go replicate it. I think a primary example of this is Nebraska. Nebraska has done everything that they can do to try to replicate what Georgia is doing from a practice and preparation standpoint, and they can't get nowhere close to the level of physicality and execution that this football program has done for 10 years. So you can try. You can try all you want to come figure out how the sausage is being made, but you ain't got the special ingredients. You just don't. So, yeah, there's no secrets. Everybody knows how they're going to practice, how they're going to play, and how they're going to attack you. And you just got to stand in for 4 and hope you don't get knocked the F out. And everybody right now is getting knocked the F out.
Sure.
So, just like I'm sure you could go up to Ohio State and try to figure out how that sauce is made, and you ain't going to figure it out. You ain't going to go replicate it wherever you're going next.
Yeah.
So, they won't beat Georgia until they figure out how to run the ball effectively and consistently. And I don't think they have the ability or the scheme to do so personally. I think they got to change it all. I think they got to change how they go about running the football. I think they got to change how they go about practicing. I think they got to change how they go about recruiting. I think they got to change a lot. So, to beat that football team, that's how I feel. You're not running stretch at that defense, and you're not extension of the run game in your way to beating them either. We've watched this for years. If you think you're going to throw the ball into the flats and be efficient against Georgia, you're just not. No. Again, goes back to practice. They practice way too freaking hard. They Memphis drill they give us practice availability maybe 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And every single time we go out there, they are full speed screen drilling every single day. It's modern Oklahoma drill. They call it Memphis drill, and they practice like that all day, every day.
And it showed. Certainly showed.
The first practice availability I ever saw as a media observer was 2019 Baylor bowl game out there at the Sugar Bowl, and they're running Memphis drill, and George Pickens tries to hurdle a football player in shells. 2 days before Sugar Bowl.
What did Kirby think about that?
Huh?
What did Kirby think about that?
He might have dropped a word that is apparently coming back into availability, but at that time was not.
Oh.
Yeah. Called him an idiot.
Okay.
Called him an idiot. Yeah, didn't know he was on a hot mic at the moment. So, that was funny. Really fun to watch that defense, has been. Let's get on into game balls, boys.
Ooh, yes.
Let's do it.
What do y'all got for me? Offense, let's talk about it.
Offense, I got Ernest Green and Monroe Freelink. I thought those two played really well on Saturday. They had their hands full with and this isn't to exclude Juan Gaston, but I saw Ernest Green and Monroe Freeling out there a whole lot more at tackle, it felt like, than I did Juan Gaston. But those two guys had their handful coming into this game against Colin Simmons and the rest of that Texas defensive front. I thought those two guys played well. Ernest Green was very involved on the one of the game-sealing plays as well.
We got a problem.
What's up?
Now, we don't have a problem. Georgia's got a problem. The secret's out. I don't know if you noticed this, but Monroe Freeling's won SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week 2 weeks.
Oh, I know.
2 times now. My price don't went up if I'm his agent. But I don't think it's going to matter because I think we're probably shaping up for a top 32 overall selection, unfortunately, for Georgia's future tackle prospects. Now, you're fine. I mean, it's first world problems for you guys.
Right.
You're going to replace him with Juan Gaston, another future top 15 pick, and whoever the hell else wins the job at right tackle. But, it's not ideal that you're only going to really get 12 starts, maybe 15 starts from Monroe Freeling.
Like healthy starts.
Healthy starts, That sucks.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But, I mean, you have to go back to the reload and recruit and type peel in a place that you've always relied on.
We talk a lot about Georgia's ability to pump out linebackers and pump out defensive linemen. Last year was the first year in 6 that they hadn't had a first-round offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
They'll break that trend this year with Monroe.
Yeah.
They'll smash it in a couple of years with maybe both Donnie and Juan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They might have to go into the portal for a left tackle, though, or a right tackle, though.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Going back to what you said, Joe, I felt like Ernest Green played his most complete game. He looked angry that time. And not to say that he doesn't look like that or hadn't looked like that throughout the season. We did feel like earlier on that there was kind of a maybe, reluctant to let it all loose fully because of that back injury. Totally understandable. That is a healthy Ernest Green for sure playing on Saturday.
Well, and not to do this to Ernest, but I'll praise him when I say this this type of matchup is one that people always feared for Ernest.
Twitch.
Was like a twitchy guy like Colin Simmons who could speed rush past you and just wreak havoc in the backfield. He played great on Saturday in all facets. It wasn't just because he played great against a guy like Colin Simmons. 71 and 57 had great days collectively.
Somebody asking if Donnie kicks out a tackle. No.
Keep that guy in guard.
He is, well, he's 6'3" with sawed-off arms. He's not a tackle. And he's a road grader. Yeah. I want him knocking teeth in, dog. I don't want him out here playing basketball on grass. Forward. We march. That's what I'm going with some Donnie Sullivan.
Basketball on grass is a very interesting way to describe playing left tackle.
It kind of is.
No, it is, but it's also like you think about it, it's like,
Too bad Josh Jackson,
Yeah.
Maybe?
Not translating right now.
No.
Not right now.
Things I didn't have on my, topic board going to that football game, the backups getting in.
Yeah, dude.
Holy
Ryan
shit.
Puglisi playing.
Buddy, the backups were in with 5 minutes left in the fourth.
if you had told me that Ryan Puglisi took snaps in this game, I would have said,
Georgia loses.
what? No. I've said, what happened to
What
Gunner?
happened to Gunner?
What happened to Gunner Stockton?
Yeah,
he
that's
Is
okay?
he okay? I mean, if Gunner Stockton were to leave a football game, a femur had to have been broken.
Probably.
Honestly, he probably would have to be without a pulse. I don't even know if a broken leg would be enough.
You don't think a broken femur would keep him off the field?
I don't know that
He would have to be
exists.
Have you ever
taken off
heard?
the field.
Have you ever heard a broken femur?
Brooks.
Sounds like a shotgun.
We
going
watched
off.
the man die on a football field, and he tried to go back in.
You're right. We did see a dead man on the field.
He literally wanted to stay in after we witnessed him.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
come
wasn't
on.
being carted off, but he was being carried off. You're right.
And he's
being-
like, I'm good.
He was being escorted off.
I'm good.
No, Gunner.
I'll go hand it off.
It's true. My game ball goes to one of 4 people. Obviously, Gunner. You mentioned Monroe. I thought London Humphreys had a sneaky physical football game.
London Humphreys led the team in
He's one of
receiving,
the-
correct me if I'm
I think
wrong.
that's just him.
Yeah.
London Humphreys is the sneaky football player.
He's like,
Lunch pail.
Like, even if he isn't putting up numbers, that guy's still having a good day. He's still impacting the football game.
And he's given us the coldest football quote of the year.
The donut
The
game?
donut football game. I think that's so awesome.
Wake up, eat a
Wake
donut.
up, eat a donut, play football. Come on, man.
even going back to what you said, Joe, when he is putting up numbers, it's not like people are like, oh my God, London Humphreys is having a great game. He led the team in receiving. He had 2 very explosive plays, one that resulted in a touchdown that ultimately extended your lead. And it felt like the takeaway from that was not necessarily that, obviously London Humphreys played a great game, but no one came off the field like, man, 16 really balled out today. Like Noah Thomas got a lot of his attention, and rightfully so. 2 massive touchdowns really shows you what he is capable of, and you're starting to reach that full potential of him at the X position. But I mean, I even put Noah Thomas at the X. But London Humphreys, you're absolutely right. Sneaky under the radar type guy.
Another great game for Oscar Delp.
Yeah.
Another great game. That play, that second play of the football game where Gunner keeps that ball and the inside linebacker jumps inside. So many players will just, okay, my responsibility stayed inside, so I'm going to stay inside. Nope. That 6'5", 250-pound human stuck his feet in the ground, accelerated again, and grabs a corner, and now it's a 20-yard explosive. And it's like the acceleration in that play is so elite. That kid is so physically gifted. He's going to play in the league for a lot. You know who he reminds me of? A player like Dawson Knox who can actually block. Like Todd Harley has spoken about this guy as the best inline blocker that he's ever had. And nobody will know how physically explosive this player is until he goes to the combine and runs 4.58 at 242 pounds. And then jumps 37 inches. And people are going to be like, oh, my God, the White Kiffin was West Forsyth's like that? Yeah, he's always been like that. He was an All-American, like borderline lacrosse player at West Forsyth High School before he dedicated himself to football. And I remember at the Elite 11 camp when the Nike opening was a big thing. I'm over there hand-timing 40s, and this big old kid comes up, and I know who he is because he's deciding between Georgia and South Carolina at the time. Boom, 4.52. Boom, 4.51 at 230 pounds in high school. And he's only gotten bigger and more physical since being in college.
Has
he's
he
an
played?
NFL football
Has he
player.
played into a first-round grade, do you think?
No.
Just not.
To be a first-round tight end, you got to go 1,100 yards.
Yeah.
Like you got to be that. You got to be difference maker, not just great inline blocker. Like nowadays you got to be Brock Bowers.
Okay.
You have to be Buddy from the Indianapolis Colts, from Penn State, Tyler Warren.
How about
You gotta be
tight end 2 or 3 then?
The question is, will he outrank Darnell Washington's draft grade potentially? right? Wasn't Darnell late second, early third?
Yeah,
Yes.
around that.
That range. Is he in there? Now, the next first-round tight end at Georgia is already on the roster. It's Elias Williams.
Mm-hmm.
That kid's got a chance to be top 32.
Mm-hmm.
Probably will be based off what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Another game ball obviously goes to Gunner. Defensive side of the foosball. 1, 2, 3.
DeMello Jones.
Understandable.
Yeah.
You can show love to Elijah Griffin. You can show love.
How about Zayden Walker getting his first sack? Who would have seen that coming?
Is that you?
Yeah, that was mine unless it doesn't happen.
You wanted him to up it to, what, 2.5 or something like that?
Yeah, you're like, make it 2. I was like, I'm fine with it being 1.
It should have been 2.
Could have
Yeah.
been 2. Very well could have
Yeah.
been 2.
It was a strip sack, too, was it not?
Yeah, I mean, I would
still
say
don't-
that's-
I still don't know how he came unblocked on that play. It's just some bad football. And you know what? I do think it's somewhat on the quarterback over there. He ain't involved in pass protections. I don't think he is. I'm not in the rooms. I don't know.
And-
but when I watch him on film, it does not look to me like he is correcting pass protections.
And
Gunner does.
I don't want to do this to the kid, but it does seem like, to a certain degree, that this offense is operating in a way that feels kind of like we have to cater to the limitations of our, albeit very young quarterback right now. He's only, 12 starts
I don't
in?
necessarily agree with that because when I watch them, they're not catering to shit. They're not changing nothing. They're just doing what they do. And that's the main problem. They're not condensing routes. They're not shortening route concepts. They're not getting the ball out of his hand quickly. They're not, it's 2nd and 10. Let me get into 3rd and 2. No, it's 2nd and 10. Let's run play action deep over for the 17th time.
This is how I put it, Christian. I said this at the end of the film study, and the more I think about it, it truly did remind me of this. Of Arch Manning against Georgia reminded me of Nico Iamaleava's performance against Georgia last year, where I left that game of, man, Tennessee can't protect. Man, that offense is really inconsistent. Georgia just had a beat down against an SEC team that seems pretty good. But golly, did Nico play his balls off. Like, that guy competed for 4 quarters no matter what. He did everything he could to make sure that team was in the best possible position. I felt the same way about Arch, where that guy doesn't have an offensive line that can protect him. He's got guys dropping balls. Tennessee did last year. He can't find any consistency in this offense, but that dude is laying it on the line every single time, and there's not a whole lot of changes happening. It's like, this is what we do. This is what we run. You got to go do it, and he's trying his best to maximize it.
Okay, I'm probably wrong on that. Then it just felt that way to me of like, it feels like the offense is hindered, and that might not be by the play call. It's more just by what's going on the field.
To me, their only hope right now is the fact that 16's playing above water. Mm-hmm. He's the only dude. You know who's a severe disappointment? Ryan Wingo.
Yeah.
Ryan Wingo is a severe disappointment for me. Every time I see him play, it's like I expect more from you. You're better than this. You're better than drops, critical drops, 50-yard explosive drops, 3rd and 8 drops. We get tackled by the logo paint. We get tackled by a shoestring. Like those things cannot happen. Cannot happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've got to get better there. They got to get more out of him, especially I would imagine what he cost. That was a 5-star football player. That was a guy that they prioritized in recruiting from St. Louis. Like, that's an important football player for that regime. Like, they need more out of him. So, Wingo don't got no hands is what the chat says.
I think Raylan Wilson also deserves a shout out for a game ball in this.
He had a good
I
game.
felt like
Facts.
I know C.J. Allen was kind of the bread and butter of this defense off defensively, and when he went down, you could kind of notice he wasn't on the field. I felt like Raylan Wilson, especially playing in the flats and making open field tackles, had one of his best games. And it felt like to me, I haven't deep dove into the film like you did, but he played the most comfortable he's played.
2 years in a row, there has been a football player for 6 quarters that has absolutely balled out in this football game. Any guesses on who it is defensively?
Well, Jalen Walker.
No. The keynote there is 6 quarters.
Oh, 6 quarters.
Well, I guess 8. No, 10. 10 quarters because they played 3 games. He got a targeting penalty in one of them.
Jonell Aguero.
Jonell Aguero's played great ball against his football
has
team
played
every
fantastic.
single time. Every single time he's played great ball.
Yeah, I mean, feels like we don't talk a lot. We haven't talked a lot about him this year, but it's also because I don't know if teams are avoiding him. I think it's more so because like that guy's just locking stuff down every time.
I don't think they think
You
can
can't
win.
throw it that
I don't
way.
think they think they can win there anymore.
How much of a blessing is that, though? Because you came into the season, and that was the kind of the one hindrance, like leading up to him even starting, was like, if this guy's going to get on the field, he might be a liability in deep back end coverage. It has been the exact opposite of that since he started.
Honestly, first football player I've ever covered that magically got better at a critical error like that. That's normally something you don't fix.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you can't turn and run with verticals? Oh, now you can? What? How,
Yeah.
no, that's not normally how that works. That's like, oh, you can't hit the slider, so now all of a sudden you magically can hit the slider. No, that's not how that works. Normally
right.
you just K on the slider the rest of your career.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't hit this stuff. So that stuff to me is very, very impressive. Again, it goes back to that development standpoint of like finding things to get better at that normally you don't have happen. Like normally you don't just magically find ways to layer the football like the quarterback is right now for Georgia. Being able to turn and run with slot receivers that are faster than you normally doesn't happen. And he's figured it out, it seems like. Or at least it has become something that teams do not do to you. I've been studying this football team every single Saturday through the Mondays and Tuesdays on film for 6 years now, since 2019, since 2020, so 6 years. That has been we can do this. We can at least try this. It is no longer what teams try against you guys.
I felt like teams attacked Tyke Smith vertically more than they attacked Jonell.
Javon Bullard. They attacked Jonell last year in this facet. They attacked Dan Jackson when he was playing the role. Like they've gotten them all this way.
And it wasn't just like they tried attacking him. That was like, oh, that's the first drive option. Like that's what we're trying to open it up with.
It was both we need an explosive to start. We'll do this. And last resort, this is all we've got left. Hell, Georgia Tech got close to you one year doing this to you.
Yeah, that was the
Kent State got close to you one year doing this to you.
both years in 22.
And nobody's doing it right now.
None.
I know that there's not a whole lot of options for this. I do want to bring up special teams game ball because I more so want to talk about this.
I got two options.
Okay. Well, I really want to talk about why in the heck Texas continued to kick to Zachariah Branch. Was the only team that continued to do it this year, like multiple times. Like
foolish.
And this may just be like, hey, kicker didn't get it right, punter didn't punt it right, whatever. But I mean, the amount of times that Zachariah Branch had an opportunity to return it and made positive plays every single time. I mean, the kickoff return, it was like, Georgia hadn't moved the ball the last two possessions on offense or whatever it was. And now all of a sudden we're kicking to Zachariah Branch and he returns it out to the 45-yard line and Georgia's in business automatically. Like, what are you doing? Nobody has done that all year, and you guys think you can?
Idiotic. Foolish.
I got two special teams nominees. The guy who doesn't deserve a roster spot, Cash Jones. Gotta be. Big-time fumble recovery there. And there's one defender that made a tremendous play on special teams.
That would be KJ Bolden stopping the touchdown for Ryan Nibble, which would not have been a touchdown.
That's a good one on the hold. But there's
Jaden Harris.
There you go. Jaden Harris made a massive tackle, put them inside the 12 last, hey, there's 9 minutes left. They're down 28-10. Nope, no shot.
And Kirby
inside the 10.
Kirby said in the postgame press conference that he got put on his back on the return that you're talking about, where Nibble had almost took it almost to the door. And Jaden Harris said he wanted to make up for it, and he certainly did on that one.
Most definitely did.
It's another sign of where this football team is with regards to culture. That's a football player that left Miami last year, was expecting to play at Georgia this year, and it has not gone his way at all. And he has remained locked in on special teams.
Begging for special team snaps.
I think that says a lot about them. Also, every time I see Zero run out there, it says a lot to me that Roger Robinson is out there just giving it his all.
Got some carries, dude. I was so happy to see that.
Got some carries, too.
I think another special teams player that deserves a shout-out.
Kirk Benedict?
I would put him in the coach section. But, yes, Peyton Woodring. Not only did you execute a perfect onside kick, every single kickoff touchback.
Yeah, didn't have one of those.
And that's what I asked for. I said that's going to be a big factor here in not giving Texas short fields. Now, I know 10 yards isn't the end of the world. It's a momentum thing as well. It's the idea that, damn, we got to come out and have 10 less yards.
Let's play a game of trivia. There was a former damn good dog on the sideline Saturday who might have contributed to my nasty, nasty habit of chewing tobacco during football games. If there were a former damn good dog on the sideline that I bummed a dip off of, Copenhagen straight, long cut, who might be the player? I will not tell you yes or no. Just give a quick stab at it.
Was he wearing a black shirt?
I don't remember.
I only know of a few. Well, I only know of a few players that were former players that were on the sideline.
Did you cover him?
Huh?
Did you cover him?
Yes, I did.
I know who it is.
I only know of a couple of players. I know that Dan Jackson was there. I know that Garrison Hurst was there. Garrison Hurst does not strike me as that.
He did not cover Garrison Hurst either.
Oh yeah, you said you covered him.
I'm gonna guess it was Dan Jackson, who I also saw in Sully Steamers later that evening. So,
What a guy.
No comment.
Okay.
We left off the record. You might have guessed it. You might have not have. I'm going to lean not have.
Okay.
Ryan Niblett, game ball, special teams. I know he's a Texas player.
why would he get the game ball?
Because you didn't have him change the game?
Yeah, almost did.
Almost did, but a hold.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't think that's Ryan Niblett. I think that's your defense stopping right now. I wouldn't give him if Ryan Niblett muffed a punt or did something, I'd give him the game ball. But other than that, Ryan Niblett was stopped. He wanted to do things, so I would keep him off of that.
You guys stoked for Charlotte?
Hey man, last home game.
Still got coaching game balls.
Potentially, unless a playoff game happens.
Last scheduled
Coaching
home
game balls. What do you got for me?
I think.
Oh my God! Before we do that, yeah, let's go coaching game balls. But there's a scenario where you don't go to the SEC championship game, but you're the highest ranked team, and you don't
get
get
a
a
first
home
round
game.
bye.
I said that last week, and we were like,
I don't know how that's going to happen, but Bama
losing made it happen.
Yeah, Bama losing made it happen, and their second loss being out of conference made this happen. But this is weird. This is going to be a weird scenario where you might get a first round bye and not play in the SEC championship game. You might go a month and a half without playing football.
Yeah.
which I don't know if you love or don't love, but
I don't love it.
you're going to get extra rest, that's for sure. You're going to get a lot of guys healthy.
Local hours going to be a little difficult, that's for sure.
God.
We're going to talk about one game for a whole month. A game we don't even know the opponent of.
But no, but I think
Bring James Madison on down to Athens. Come on. Get that 5 seed, man, somehow, some way.
I think we have seen something absolutely monumental within this program, within this fan base that I did not think we would ever see. We have got people supporting, praising, and saying they were wrong about Mike Bobo.
No. I saw a guy do it today. I'm not admitting I'm wrong until they win a national title.
Those people are lost causes. Those people are too prideful to ever admit they are wrong. I have seen a handful. It happened in the stands. They were Georgia fans like, man, Mike Bobo's calling a great game. Mike Bobo is doing a great job this season. There has been a shift on the attitude of Mike Bobo. There are people out there that will hate Mike Bobo as long as they can because they're too proud to say they were right. They are the same people that would say Stetson Bennett should not have been the starter in 2022 after winning 2 natties. Those are the people that you don't even need to bother arguing with them because they will never concede.
You know what I think is funny? And I'm really proud of this. I think there are a lot of things that I'm proud of, this being one of them. The fact that this platform has grown so large that used to, if you're at like a sports bar or if you were at your buddy's house in the neighborhood watching the game and somebody popped off, golly, Mike Bobo sucks. This guy's an idiot in the middle of a football game. People in the room would be like, yeah, you're right. This guy does suck. Nowadays, when that happens, there's somebody in the room that watches this network that's like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. And it happens like that now. I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that.
I just want to know, if you are on the fence a little bit about Mike Bobo still, or you don't believe in Mike Bobo still, what are you waiting for? Unless you're in that, he's got to win a natty for me to believe. If you're in that group, whatever. Stay over there for all I care. But if you're just truly on the fence, if you truly feel like you still don't like him, if you're still holding feelings against him from 2013 or 14, whatever it is, what are you waiting on? This offense has been immaculate this season. It has been so much fun to watch. And if you're missing out on that because you have disdain for an offensive coordinator that is constantly doing great things for this offense the entire season, shame on you. And I feel bad for you.
Too proud to admit they're wrong. They'll always look for a reason to not like. It's the same thing with Stetson Bennett, to where it was he won the first natty and he's right off into the sunset. He's going to cost us our second natty. He won the second natty, and then it was he was mean to us at the parade. I don't like him anymore. Like, there are people who have predetermined reasons, and they will choose to not like someone or something simply because of whatever. Oh, I thought you were going to the board. I was like, uh-oh.
No. Somebody asked about my precious buffalo. The 6th wedding anniversary is the wood or iron anniversary, I believe, something like that. My wife bought me this buffalo to put on the board. And sometimes when I get a little too passionate, I'll be tapping that board a little too hard, and the buffalo go down. But don't you worry about this buffalo, all right? This buffalo is strong and sturdy, just like his spirit animal human that is the film guy, all right? We're here for the buffalo. He's a nice guy. Shout out to the wife.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, weekends are hard on her, you know?
I bet.
Them 2 toddlers. You guys have met the Hellions, you know?
They're great kids, though.
They are. They're good kids. We're doing a good job. But they can be a lot.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
right about now with the way they're bickering at one another, man. You'd think they're Ole Miss fans. You know? We good?
I think we're
believe
good.
we are.
I'm good. Hey, we got a lot coming out tomorrow. We got a lot of film studies. If you haven't watched our film studies on the Auburn or the Georgia-Texas game, you need to now. We got Texas A&M coming up tomorrow. I'll be on Paul Feinbaum tomorrow at 4:30, probably trying to take a stab at breaking down Oklahoma's defense. Who the hell knows, man? I was telling their producer today, I think I know ball at a real, real high rate. Old Brett makes me question my validity in terms of analysis because that guy is a lunatic. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Bye.